Welcome back to Amateur Hour Sports. I'm Trent with my co-host Jake. All right, so we're back with another video. We are ranking the top 5 offenses in the AFC, NFC, and NFL. This is part 2. We are ranking the NFC top 5 offenses based on skill players only. So no, excluding quarterbacks. So no quarterbacks. This is just number 1 running back, 2 receivers, and a top tight end. And this is, again, a huge debate. Make sure you check out our AFC video from yesterday. But let's get into the NFC right now. Jake, I'll throw it to you. Who you got for your top 5?
This list, I'm telling you, was like 10 times harder to make than the AFC list. I just going through this is actually NFC is kind of scary this year. But all right, so my list is I got number 1 is New Orleans, number 2 is Atlanta, number 3 is Dallas, number 4 is Green Bay, and then number 5 is Tampa Bay. What I like about New Orleans, number 1, they got the best receiver probably in the game, Michael Thomas. And of the top 5 teams here, they have the best tight end in Jared Cook. So I really value those 2 guys. I really think Kamara and Sanders also, the addition of Sanders just makes them over the top. So they have a dynamic group. Number 2, Atlanta. I mean, this was a toss-up between them and New Orleans. I mean, they got all first-round picks on their offense. 10 of their 11 guys are first-round picks. Obviously Julio and Ridley are just dynamic, and Hurst coming in. I mean, he's been injured for a few years, so we'll see. Dallas has got Ezekiel Elliott. I think he's the best back, one of the best backs at least in the NFC. Amari Cooper and Gallup are a decent duo. I would kind of like equivalent them to the Bills and Diggs and Brown. But Jarwin, I don't really have an opinion on. 4 is interesting. I think Green Bay's got the right with Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, but other than that, they're really kind of weak. Talent-wise, those guys are really good. And then Tampa Bay, with all the hype with Tampa Bay, I think people forgot Chris Godwin over 1,000 yards. I think 1,300 actually. So he's a freaking force as your number 2 receiver. And then OJ Howard, who's just an athletic guy. But that kind of rounds out my teams. I think you might have a few differences. I know we both really struggled with this, so I kind of want to hear yours.
Yeah. There's a lot of talent in the NFC, especially the skill positions. My order is similar to yours. However, I have a few differences. So we'll start off with the Saints at number 1. 2 is Atlanta, same as yours. 3, I think Tampa Bay. I rely heavily on those 2 receivers from Tampa Bay. 4, I got Dallas. 5, I got Green Bay. So we should note also we're leaving off some pretty good teams on this list, like the 49ers, Seahawks, Vikings.
Yeah,
we didn't forget about those teams, guys. We
Yeah.
didn't forget about them. Like you said, I mean, Mike Thomas, you could debate Julio Jones, Mike Thomas. Just look at the production, though, for Mike Thomas. Yes, he has Drew Brees, but every single year he's been incredible. And then they add Emmanuel Sanders this year in free agency, which is a huge addition for them. It'll take some stress off Mike Thomas. I think Todd Gurley with Atlanta, I mean, that bolsters up, like you said, all their first-round guys.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of our differences, though. I mean, I didn't really value Todd Gurley coming in because of just all the ailing knee issues and everything.
So you ranked them number 2 based off receivers?
Receivers, yeah. Okay. Receivers as a whole, yeah, basically.
I still think when you look at this list, though, Zeke, and you could debate Gurley or Kamara, I guess, but in our top 5, and Aaron Jones, I guess. But I think Todd Gurley is probably second best back in our top 5.
Still, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean,
maybe
that's
his
a tough one.
Not there, but I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. We'll see how they use him. They have that. I love that trio though: Matt Ryan, Todd Gurley, and Julio Jones. Different discussion. Yeah. Number 3, I have Tampa Bay. Like you touched on with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I would take those 2 receivers over Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley for the top 2 duo in the NFC. I don't like Ronald Jones, and I don't like OJ Howard. They just haven't produced for me. But we'll see if they can get it going this year. 4, I have Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and I really think Michael Gallup is slept on. I agree with Blake Jarwin. He doesn't really do anything for me, but I think Cooper and Gallup they elevate, and Elliott, but they elevate the Cowboys for me. And 5th with Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. They added Devin Funchess. I don't know how much that'll impact the Packers because Funchess didn't play last year. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aaron Jones put up crazy numbers last year, crazy amount of touchdowns. And Devontae Adams is still one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah. The only thing I would debate is quantity over quality. I think Evans and Godwin are the perfect examples of quantity receivers.
Yep.
You throw a ton, and they're gonna make their catches, but they're also gonna get targeted like 20 times. Whereas you got guys like Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley who will get open and make more out of less attempts at each other. I
Yeah.
think that's my biggest difference with yours is I'm valuing more of the, you know, yards per catch, yards after catch, than just sheer amount of catches with your yards, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I definitely see how you can say, Tampa's receivers, their stats are just so elevated just because Jameis threw for 5,100 yards.
yeah,
And I guess from a production standpoint, it's hard to argue the other way, though. I mean, it's like, what duo produced more than those two? So it's like, I don't know, it depends which way you want to weigh it. Like I said, in the AFC one, if you guys want to check that out, I didn't really I value Todd Gurley in this, but I didn't value running backs as much as I did receivers and even tight ends.
I think I'm a little opposite as we're doing just skill players. So from receiver standpoint, like you got to actually look at their skill
Yeah,
instead of like how they produce with their quarterback. And that was one thing. Like Michael Thomas, great route runner. Julio, great route runner. But Evans is like, I feel
just a
like I
deep
said
back. Yeah,
before. But then I valued the running back a lot because that's literally a skill position. Like you
yeah,
make every one of your yards. So that's why I gave him a little bit more of a weight, I guess you could
yeah.
say. But
No, it
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, let us know your thoughts below, and
yeah.
we'll see you in the next video.